Today, we're going to talk about the 5 steps to lose belly fat during perimenopause and menopause, and even postmenopause. It'll work across the entire spectrum of the menopause journey. So, by the way, before I get started, I'm Dr. Lori Marbus. I'm a board certified family and lifestyle medicine physician and also a menopause certification practitioner. I had to take a test from the Menopause Society, make sure I know what I'm talking about. So, that has been done. So, I'm excited to share this information with you because so many women that I see actually are complaining about what is going on here. Nothing's changed, but my weight has shifted and I'm gaining weight in places I never did before. So let's dump right in. So first of all, granted, you are definitely going to probably find it harder to lose, lose the belly fat and keep it at bay as you're kind of transitioning through perimenopause and menopause. Let me tell you, you are absolutely not alone. It is a common complaint amongst my patients. And weight gain during this time can really feel inevitable, but it doesn't have to be. So understanding why it happens can actually empower you to take action with the right strategies. Okay, so let's talk a little bit. I'm going to first break it down to the 5 steps that you need to do to lose the belly fat. But first, let's understand why belly fat becomes a challenge in the first place. So number one, of course, estrogen takes a dip, right? So estrogen, that hormone that regulates fat distribution, starts to decline. And as the shift occurs, your body begins to store more fat around the belly in an area that they call visceral fat. And this is a really dangerous area to be storing fat because it increases inflammation, increases risk for things like cardiovascular disease and type 2 diabetes. Number 2, as we age, our metabolism slows down. As we lose muscle mass, you can see this natural decline in metabolism. So less muscle means fewer calories burns, even at rest. Again, making it easier to gain weight over time. Number 3 is insulin resistance increases. So hormonal changes can shift again the way the body is less effective at processing sugars, which can also lead to more belly fat storage. So it's really important that we understand this muscle mass, which could be a clue is what I'm going to tell you about here in a minute, is such a key factor in staying insulin sensitive. Number 4 is, stress levels go up. So midlife actually brings more stress. One, because maybe our kids are leaving, or maybe we're kind of in this crisis in this work. Do we keep working? We're not happy with our current job, or all the symptoms of perimenopause and menopause just kind of compound on us at once. And we're like, what is going on? So again, as you become more stressed, your cortisol levels can increase. Again, that hormone says, hey, store fat, especially around the middle. Number 5 is sleep disruptions. And I'll tell you, I think that was probably the very first sign that I had during perimenopause, but I didn't quite link it to perimenopause. But I will say that was probably the absolute first thing that started shifting in my own life, probably close to 10 years ago now. Symptoms like hot flashes and night sweats can absolutely disrupt sleep, but you can also just find that you're a lighter sleeper. That's the way I thought it was. But again, when you don't get as much sleep and you have disrupted sleep, this can affect your hunger hormones, right? And that can make you more prone to cravings and snacking, also causes more stress. And you can see this vicious cycle occurring. But let's talk about how do we disrupt this cycle. Okay, so now that we kind of understand on a peripheral level, or superficial level, what that means to why we're actually gaining it, let's dive into what will actually work. And I've seen this work with so many patients. Number 1, I think you guys probably already know if you're familiar with me, I'm going to tell you eat a whole food plant-based diet. Why? Because when you focus on unprocessed foods like veggies, fruits, beans, legumes, and whole grains, you're going to find that they're rich in fiber and nutrients that stabilize blood sugar and really help you feel full and satiated. You'll also want to cut out those oils, right? And just really understand that whole plant foods outside of nuts and seeds are already lower calorie. So you're going to feel satisfied because you're eating such a larger amount of food, but naturally these foods have less calories. So you're going on a calorically less dense diet, meaning you're cutting calories without really feeling like you're not getting the good food that you want or feeling like you can eat some more. So understand there's so many benefits to the whole food plant-based diet. So that is number 1. Number 2 is really boosting your protein intake, especially at this point. So you want to aim around 1 to 1.4 grams per kilogram of ideal body weight, right? It doesn't need to be 1 gram per pound. When you look at maintaining muscle mass as we get older, 1 gram would probably be minimal per kilogram. But if you're going to start resistance training, which I'll get to here in a second. That's going to be really important to, one, maintain your muscle mass as you're slightly decreasing your caloric intake. Again, we want to maintain muscles, which are just so important for our metabolism. There's like our metabolic furnace. You can think of it that way. All right, so how do we do this? So great plant-based options are going to be lentils, beans, tofu, which is fantastic because you also get those phytoestrogens, which are so fantastic for your bone health, decreasing risk for breast cancer and such. Again, they provide that extra protein, which also curb cravings. When I've had patients really struggle on a whole food plant-based diet and they're like, man, I'm still getting all these cravings, we up their protein content, like we shift a little bit more, tweaking towards these whole grains, whole, beans. Those things really, really help. And they find that their cravings will start to subside. Now, there's many other things that can cause the cravings, but that will be one of the tools that you can utilize to see a decrease in the kind of the sugary, highly processed food cravings. Number 3 is increase your fiber intake to 35 grams a day. So let's say that you're like, man, I just can't do a whole food plant-based diet. Well, let's start by adding in things. Let's think of from an abundance mindset, right? So what can you start adding into your life, into your plate that has lots of fiber? Hint, fiber only comes from plants. So whatever it is, it needs to come from the plant world. So this, again, it could be a serving of beans. It could be adding beans to a salad. It could be, adding an extra vegetable to your lunch. All sorts of ways to do this. Adding another piece of fruit to your morning oatmeal. Lots of different ways to incorporate more fiber throughout the day. And once you understand this, you're going to notice some shifts also in your gut. You're going to have a little bit more satiety. Lots of good things start coming when you start moving towards more fiber. I've actually had patients tell me that they had not had bowel movements for, anywhere from 3 to 7 days at a time. This is not normal. You should have bowel movements a few times a day. So if you're in that place, adding more fiber and removing the dairy is going to be the number one thing I would encourage you to do. Number 4 is incorporate resistance training. I completely understand we're all busy. We're always saying you exercise. But if you're in this phase of this perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause phase as a woman, and there's so many of us that are, I would encourage you to start with your strength training or resistance training or utilizing some type of weight-bearing exercise over the other types of training first, right? And you can do it in a manner that your heart rate actually gets up. So if you can at least start there 2 to 3 times per week will be phenomenal. And then start incorporating maybe more cardiovascular exercise where you're really pushing the heart rate a little bit more. But again, I would definitely encourage you to make sure that you're trying to get at least 10,000 steps per day. This is where the data shows that it actually might fend off any particular types of dementia, Alzheimer's, things like that. Really interesting data when it comes to how much movement you need per day to decrease those risks. So again, I understand brain health is on the list of worries as we get older, but this is one thing. One, it'll help maintain your muscle mass. It'll make you lose weight. You'll feel stronger and more functional in our bodies that have literally been loyal to us this whole life. They've been with us. Let's try to really take care of them in this latter part of our life by really focusing in on building muscle. You're less likely to fall. You're going to feel, again, more ability to do the daily things like lifting up groceries or lifting up grandkids, going hiking, doing things with your family as they are younger. Let's say if you have kids that are younger, again, this is where you want to be, is really focusing in on the functionality of your body. Not so much worried about the aesthetics, but definitely worrying about the functionality is so, so important. And number 5, I would say, is actually one of the top things I would do is managing stress with mindfulness. Chronic stress increases cortisol, really, which again encourages belly fat. And reducing stress through mindfulness really works, guys. I have raised 3 kids. I've had elder care responsibilities. I've been married 32 years. Of those years, I had 6, 8, 14, 15 years or so where I was taking care of elderly grandparents, in-laws, different things like that. Again, so important that we understand that stress is such a disruptor in so many parts of our lives that we just accepted that we think, hey, stress is just daily, it's chronic, that's the way it is. That's absolutely not true, right? We're not meant to be under a complete burden of stress every single moment of our days. So, what can we do to decrease our stress? What does mindfulness look like? Well, first of all, I'm going to walk you through a 5-minute mindfulness exercise. And if you could just start with this before you even start thinking about incorporating the other 4 steps, I think you're going to find your life starts improving in dramatic ways. Your relationships will get better, you'll sleep better, and then you can start adding in these other things because it gets easier when you come from a different space, a quiet space, a calm space, right? So, first of all, let's walk through it. You want to find a quiet spot and just kind of sit comfortably. You're going to close your eyes and you're going to take a deep breath for 4 seconds. Then hold it 4 seconds and then exhale over 6. Okay. As you breathe, focus on the sensation of the air entering and leaving your body, right? And then just continue that for 5 minutes, keeping your attention on the breath. And if your mind wanders, just gently bring it back to your breathing. That simple exercise can lower cortisol and just create a healthier environment for fat loss, which is your number one goal. I appreciate that. But if we can get our minds right and the stress down, you're going to find it so much easier to do the other things that will also help build your belly fat loss snowball, if you want to call it that. So again, just focusing in on the mindfulness. And I will tell you, mindfulness has changed my life in so many dramatic ways. And what it means is that you're not in the future, you're not in the past, you're really present, right? You're present in relationships, you're present in conversations, you're present in the decisions that you need to make. Maybe you need to make a financial decision or a career decision or helping your kid decide which college they want to get to. You really want to be present for those, first for yourself, and then those who are engaging with you, the ones that you care and love about. And just a simple exercise will start manifesting that in your life. So I hope you understand that, again, you know, this all works because we're really trying to understand that menopause is a time of forced inner reflection, right? It's a time that's like, hey, I need you to stop and pay attention to me because things have gotten out of control. And now you have these hormonal shifts, which just exacerbate what was already present. So again, I just want to share this with you. And if you like what you've heard and you'd like to learn more, we want to think about menopause as a time of growth and sharing our wisdom with those around us. So sending gratitude, joy, love, and healing your way. Again, thank you so much for being here with me. I so appreciate you all. And share this video with someone, please. And if you haven't subscribed, please click the subscribe button. It really helps. And if you have any comments or questions, please put them below. I'm really trying to understand what your needs are, what subject matters you would like to learn about more. Because honestly, I enjoy teaching and I enjoy diving into the research. And if I can do more of that to help you and really understand what your needs are, that's even better. So thanks everyone again, and have a wonderful rest of your day.